Hello, welcome to Leap Taken. This is Mika, and here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. Today, today I want to talk about baneful magic. I just did a video about a little bit about this topic, but I wanted to talk a little bit deeper about baneful magic and really the truth about it. So I'm going to just start off with the obvious. Only you can make the decision if your situation is warranted to use baneful magic. And what is baneful magic, by the way? It's just basically, typically people mean curses and hexes. Typically. So the question becomes, I guess, when is it okay to use a hex or a curse? And to me, that's kind of back to the first point. Only you can really decide. I'm working on a book of shadows, a new book of shadows. The one I currently have, I'm running out of pages, so I'm going to start a new one. And I get a sketchbook from Michael's. I think they're about $7 or something like that. It's just a plain sketchbook. I get that, and I, go in and get creative with and create my own book of shadows. So since I'm in the process of kind of compiling and thinking about what do I want to put in this, second iteration of my Book of Shadows. I'm coming across interesting things because I'm looking at things I can maybe put in, paste in, or maybe duplicate in some way with my own little artistic way. And I keep saying things like, don't put dark magic in your Book of Shadows because I'm researching this sort of stuff right now. So you go to Pinterest and you go to other places like that, and there's this whole thing, dark magic, baneful magic, don't include that. And I'm like, you know what? First of all, I put whatever I want because it's my Book of Shadows. I understand why maybe that messaging is there because you have a lot of not younger in practice, younger in age, witches who they might need that information. They might be a little bit more emotional. And probably quicker to hex or curse. So that might be why. The other thing I just want to kind of point out about whether or not to do it is moral compass. You need to create your own moral compass, create your own sort of true north, basically what is it that you're about? What kind of witch are you? Besides eclectic or, hedge witch or something like that, when you break down your craft and what you're into, what kind of witch are you? What are you into? What are you willing to do from a magical sense? What intentions are you willing to put out into the universe? And are you comfortable with it coming back to you? Are you comfortable with it not maybe affecting you afterwards, but the aftermath and the consequence the other person now has to deal with if you're hexing a person or something like that? I just think about that. That's all. And I have no judgment. Excuse me, my nose is itching. Please forgive me. It's just allergies and I'm struggling. Guys, oh my God, I'm struggling. Anyway. I'll get it together. Anyway. So why is baneful magic even popular? Why are hexes popular? There's so much other type of magic we can do. Why are we so concerned with hexing and cursing and all this other stuff? So I think it's just a lack of emotional immaturity. And this is not teenagers. These are adults. I belong to quite a few groups, social media groups, and the number of times you see people like, oh, my life is, crap. My baby daddy, and I'm not making this up, I'm not even exaggerating. My baby daddy is doesn't want to take care of the kids, and they'll go through this whole thing. I need him to watch the kids while I go to work, and he's dealing with somebody else, even though I know he's my twin flame. Sigh. Even though I know he's my twin flame, and they'll go through this whole thing. I've actually seen an iteration of this story. Oh, and I just want to know, how do I get him to come back in the house or something like that? They'll go through this whole story, and I'm like, get him to come back, baby daddy. What? You want him back in the house? He doesn't have a job anyway. So, you see this, how can I get him to come back? And then In the next breath, it's, you know, I guess it didn't work out. Maybe he did come back. All right, I need to get back at him and the woman he cheated with. I just need to know, what can I do to get back at him? And I'm like, you know what? That is the least of your worries. You need to start questioning emotional immaturity. What is going on in your brain that you even make any of this logical or rational type of relationship? Why are you wanting this? And I mean, you already reproduced with this person, so you kind of stuck with that situation. Yeah, I said it. So make the best out of it. You know, try to be a healthier person so you can be a healthier mother, to raise hopefully a different type of children that don't act like you and said baby daddy. Anyway, but they want to get back at the guy because, you know, he's with somebody else and he didn't give her the money. And I look at this sort of stuff and I'm like, and this is what you want to waste your magic on? To me, that's wasteful. I don't know. It's just, it's silly and it's wasteful. But I guess to them, you know, that's their life. That's how they see it. That's their reality. I'm familiar with that type of reality because I've seen it. I just looked at it and said, I don't want any parts of it, so I won't claim it. And I think we all have the option to do that. It's not about how much money you have. It's not about that. That's a mindset of what you will and what you won't accept in your life. So if your way of dealing with your poor choices is to do a hex on someone or put them in a jar or some other BS, you know, that's about your emotional immaturity. You not wanting to do the necessary shadow work on figuring out, why are you making these effed up choices to even put you in a position where you think you need to do some kind of revenge? I do also want to say, even though it is a popular subject, it is possible to practice witchcraft without ever doing any type of baneful magic. It is very possible it may not ever come up. Not everybody thinks to do that. A lot of people do more protection magic, so maybe they never get to a point where that's not something they even feel like they need to go down. They would instead shore up more protection. If there's been a breach and something happened, oh, well, let me do more protection spells on myself, my home, my family, or whatever, as opposed to a hex or a curse. I think I'm more probably like that at this point. I have been practicing for more than 10 years, witchcraft that is, and I can count on one hand how many times I've done any sort of baneful magic. So it is possible to do, and I don't see myself doing it again. I feel like I'm a creative person. I'm a crafty witch. I can sort of get my own self-satisfaction at this stage, and without resorting to that in a spell. I can still find a way to make myself feel like the situation is resolved without creating a hex or a curse. Yeah, that's me. And also, I just want to point out, I have limited experience even doing that type of magic because I don't do it all the time. So it's not something that just comes to me, you know, to do as a thought to do that. I've had an experience where I've done that before. It did come to me to just go ahead and do it, and it seemed like it made sense. But I really thought that was a divine message from my ancestors, asking, you know, letting me be the vessel that they work through. Excuse me. I do. I really think that. But okay, so I see a lot about people saying put them in a jar. It's type of hoodoo, or a freezer spell. It's binding magic. And should that be considered baneful? Is that considered, I guess, the dark magic? The jar spell, possibly, yeah. But the freezer spell that that was popular for a while, I don't necessarily think that would be considered baneful. Again, it's going to depend on what your intent is. So yes and no, it could be. It depends on what are you saying? What is your intention? You know, are you just putting a situation on ice? You know, if you're in a relationship and you can't make up your mind, you don't want it to end, you don't really want it to go forward, you don't want it to go backwards, you just need to kind of hold it until you get yourself together. I don't see anything wrong with doing a freezer spell. And relationships could be any, relationships with your job, relationships, not necessarily romantic. Just saying, just some ideas on that. I wouldn't consider that baneful. Love spells, are they considered baneful because you don't have the other, you're working against someone else's will? I don't think so, but I'm really love spells. I don't know about that. I don't like the idea of working with someone because I'm married. I'm not gonna do a love spell on someone else that I don't know, who doesn't really know me, and I want them to fall in love with me. So, excuse me, the chances of that being me is slim. So I would be doing it for someone else. And that, I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. I wouldn't want to do that. I think I would give more advice on dating and how to charm, just use your femininity or, just I would go more in that direction on how to attract someone and maybe do a love spell on yourself so you feel more confident. It would be all about working on you and making you confident, making you feel desirable so that when you put yourself out there to be approached, you're going to just kind of exude a certain aura about you. So I would work in that direction as opposed to wanting a love spell on a person. Now, love spell in general, just to attract love. Oh yeah, that's a good one. And no, I don't think that's painful. Not at all. I don't know why you would want someone who's disinterested in you to all of a sudden want to like and love you. If that wasn't already there and they've already seen you and they're still not interested, that's not your person or you're not their person. So you kind of got to let that go. And I don't think that's good for self-esteem. I don't. Okay, and I'm looking at my list here, binding spells and all that sort of stuff. And again, it just goes on based on your moral compass and how you practice your witchcraft. And kind of my just final thoughts on it are, it's your magic, it's your system, you work it, you will your magic the way you want. I have no problems with someone who does practice any sort of baneful magic, someone who with strong intent do binding spells, I guess necessarily from a baneful point of view. I don't have a problem with it because I think there's room for all of us. If you're looking for something like that, there's going to be a witch who practices, or you may become that witch or working on becoming it because you don't have an issue with it. And not that there is an issue to be had, but if you can't stomach it, meaning if you're not the type who feels comfortable hitting back, fighting back, you don't need to be probably trying to put a hex on somebody. If you don't physically think you can, would want to defend yourself if you were, I look at it like that. If another adult, came over and pushed you or something like that, and your instinct is not to immediately kind of push them back, and that's okay if that's not you, that's okay. But once you get over the shock and you're like, what the heck, and you push them back, you might not be the type to do a hex on somebody, because I think those two kind of go hand in hand, and it doesn't mean you're violent or anything like that. It just means you might not have that, not everybody has that thing in them. I don't know what you want to call it. I guess the thing to make them to do baneful magic. If you wanted to, I'm the type, if I was pushed, let's say I'm standing in line and somebody pushed me, I would be shocked. First I would, you turn around and making sure it wasn't an accident. And once it's determined it is in fact on purpose, I probably am gonna, and these are quick second decisions. I'm also an Aries, so I don't know if I can, I could learn to be differently, but I don't know. That would be tough. That would be my instinct to push back. It would be hard for me not to. It on the same line, I don't, if I went down the road, it probably would be a little bit more difficult to keep from wanting to dip more into the baneful type magic. But I've developed my moral compass, and I've developed a magical system where I don't have a lot of circumstances that even warrant it. So I'm all about being proactive. So let's try to do our protection spells, wards around our home, jewelry that has our magical intent in it to keep us safe, to bring us success, luck, and money, and lucky in love, all that sort of stuff. Let's go that route as opposed to, kind of leaving ourselves open to people and situations that might upset us and make us want to go put a curse on somebody. Those are just my thoughts. But thank you for watching. Again, this is Mika here at Leap Taken. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. And if you don't mind subscribing, that'd be great too. Thanks.